You can only hear us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming back for a second time. I don't know why you're here, but I really appreciate it. This is SD Best Friends, and here are my SD Best Friends. Without further ado.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey there.
Hello.
Sorry, I was doing something in the background so I could get the mute button on the YouTube so I can see everyone's chat, because last time I couldn't see everyone's chat. It would come up randomly. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one, the only Janine the Machine, and also the one, the only West Coast Frank.
West Coast Frank!
We were just doing Brad Gilmore impressions.
Yeah,
Apparently, Brad Gilmore is not going to be on the rundown this week.
Yeah.
News has dropped. I just dropped that news. Brad Gilmore not on the rundown this week. It is solo West Coast Frank. And I was saying,
That's right.
I was saying how I would really like it if Frank did like the Brad part of the show. So like his impression of Brad and then himself speaking.
Just
you know,
go
and so
back
we're
and
going
forth.
about like what that would sound like.
Yeah. I have to work on that, but it's like what does he do? Welcome to the Schmodown Rundown. That's not good enough, but he says, you might know me as the boat. Hashtag I'm on a boat. Hashtag boat life. Hashtag I'm on a boat. Whatever he does, listen here, brother. All right, all of that. So,
and joining me from the West Coast, it's West Coast Frank.
And then he threw in Lockdown Frank. Lockdown Frank. Yeah.
Perfect. Spot on.
All right, I gotta work on it.
Yeah, we all gotta work on it. I think we can. Our best Brad impressions next week. That's our homework.
Oh.
Also joining us on the stream right now, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the hot man, the hit man.
Hello.
The H asterisk T man. There we go.
To quote Mike TV, am I coming in clear?
You are coming in clear.
Am I coming in clear?
Did you use a Trident layers to prop up your phone?
To prop up your phone
Actually,
this time.
Today, the Trident layers wasn't enough, so I also had to use Scotch tape.
Okay. Changing it up. I like it. Yeah. It's very innovative.
I wasn't successful with the first tape, so this is the evidence, but it's
This
working.
man is a mechanical engineer, folks.
That's right. That's what you do for a living.
Duct tape is what saved the Apollo 13 astronauts, and if duct tape is good enough for the greatest space agencies in the world's finest hour, then it's good enough for me.
All right.
Fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
like it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is SD Best Friends. SD is open-ended. It can be whatever you want it to be, really. It could be Schmodown. It could be, someone said super dope last week, and I was like, yeah, super dope.
I like
Best
that.
Friends,
Okay.
Super dope. I don't know. You guys have any ideas what it could possibly be? No.
It could be sundown. I don't know.
Sundown.
Sundown. I don't know. That's very open ended as well.
That's true. That's true. Sexual deviant best friends? Maybe not. Not that.
This video is definitely not for kids, so check that on the. What could SDB? Oh man, now.
There's a lot.
Can't say that. I can't say that one.
Why do I feel like I know what you were going to say, Frank?
Can you do what it rhymes with?
Satellite
dish?
disconnect. Satellite dish. Satellite dish.
I like standard deviation or standard definition because high definition would not be what we are. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for being here. We have some hot topics that we're going to get to because the hot man's here, thus the hot topics.
Oh, yeah.
But we do talk about Schmodown on this show. So we're going to get into this week's match. If I can find the banner, I'm going to be looking for it. It's on here. Oh, there it is. Here comes the banner. Team match of the week. Look how you did that. So seamless. So we're going to be discussing this week's team match now. It did air today. So that means if you have not watched it, we're going to be talking about it Not in complete depth because Frank's going to do that tomorrow, but we're going to go over.
Even then, I don't know that I do that either. So,
all right.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it on Monday. Then.
There you go.
Okay,
There you
I'll
go.
do it on
Everyone's going
Monday.
to be breaking it down. We're going to break it down here. We're going to break it down there. We're going to break it down over there. So, yeah. If you haven't watched it, you can come back when the banner changes to something else. Maybe in like 10 minutes, maybe less. I'm not sure. Anyways, who would like to get started? Our team match this week, Pride versus Butcher Boys.
Well, this was Brandon's faction. So, what did you think of the match, Hot Man?
Well, I think before we talk about anything, I would like to give a massive shout out to Jake Yakavetta.
Yes, Jake.
Yes.
Yeah. Last week, Jake sent in a very, very generous donation into this show.
That was very nice of him.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it was for $500. So it was insane.
We are not worthy. We are definitely not worthy.
But I wanted to make sure that we gave you a shout out.
Yes,
it's very, very much appreciated, especially during these crazy times with everyone being quarantined at home and trying to do what we can to make ends meet. So that's I mean, I'm kind of speechless, honestly, but I just wanted to make sure that we all thanked you for that. And I'm sorry we weren't able to thank you last week. Yeah. But as you can see, I'm taping my phone to a computer monitor, and I completely missed your donation. So once again, we love you to death. You're family, you're a brother. So just thank you. You're from the bottom of our hearts.
Jake is amazing. He reached out to me and said, like, how are you doing during this time? Any way that I can help? And I was like, I'm doing just fine. I was like, how nice of him to, like, I mean, I'm not doing.
Do you want to take my children?
Yeah, if you can I be quarantined by myself somewhere, please? But yeah, it was really nice of him to reach out, and thank you so much for that donation, Jake. And thank you for bringing that up, Brandon.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Good man, Brandon.
You're such a good host.
I got Chipotle 100 times because of that. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really stretching your dollar, actually.
I know,
right?
What did you buy there? Did you just buy like salsa?
Burrito bowls, no guac.
2 servings of guacamole.
Yeah, that's
that's way more expensive.
Yeah, I did not get guac. No guac for all 100
guac
times.
Is extra.
Exactly. They let you know, and it's true. It's true.
I just bought a lot of hair product with mine, but I'm not using it yet. I'm saving it for a special occasion. But I think it looks pretty good on its own.
This isn't special enough for you, Brandon?
Right?
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay. All right.
Well, anyway, team match.
Yeah, there you go.
Get back to the match.
There was, I mean, what can I say? This show isn't necessarily worth all my pride. You know, Frank's looking kind of like a butcher boy over there. So you see what I'm doing? Doing some sort of pun.
You're just saying stuff.
Wow,
really.
you're just saying words.
Are you really?
That's not how puns work, Brandon.
You know, sometimes I start a sentence and I don't really know where it's going. I just hope that I find the words along the way.
Understand that 100%. You know what else I understand? I understand Frank's sweatshirt, which says "Little Bobby."
And the
Jews. And we just have to shout that out real quick.
Yeah, we do.
Little Bobby was not in this match, but we wish he was because he makes everything better.
I mean, what do you guys expect me to say? Obviously, the better team won, the better faction won. Long reign the den. Kate Mulligan is a god amongst mortal humans.
Excellent. A god amongst mortal humans. Yes. I like that. I like Kate. I think she's a hilarious. I love her fanny pack. That just makes me
love
so
that she pulled out some ribs.
The ribs
that was wonderful.
The ribs look good.
I wish he had like taken them out during the match and like ate
them. Just snacking on them, right?
I feel like that was needed during this match. What did she give to Rachel? I wrote it down, but I don't have it here. A bar of soap to wash her mouth.
Wash out her dirty mouth.
That's right.
Okay.
Round one. Now, if you were playing at home on the sidelines, how did you do?
Oh, how did I?
Round one. You sent us a text about how you did, Frank. So you.
Oh yeah, I did. I did. Well, because I watched it on Monday, and so today's
Okay.
Friday, and even though I did talk about it this morning on a recording, it's still
not fresh in your mind.
It's been a long year.
It has been a long year. So Frank did well. He got 8 out of 8.
I got 8 out of 8. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't quite get the bonus. I couldn't pull the quote. I couldn't picture it.
That one was a little tough. That was on the tougher side, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I was about 7 out of 8, but I always am like, well, it's hard because I'm at home, I'm relaxed, so I don't think I would have performed that well under the lights. The one I wasn't able to pull was the Armageddon one because they gave the name of the ships, and I was like, I don't know. And I probably would have put Event Horizon as well.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Armageddon in a long time, so that was the one I missed in playing along.
Brandon, how did you do?
I've never missed a question once in my life.
That's right.
Oh,
Makes sense. Makes sense. But I'll tell you this about Armageddon, though. It is the first 5 or 7 minutes of that movie is absolutely bananas. It's like, what in the world is going on? And the rest of the movie is still crazy, but because I haven't watched it in a while, or when I did, I hadn't watched it in a long time. And the first fight, I was like, I can't believe this. This is the movie. This is how it starts, and it was so fun. It was so fun.
I gotta watch it again. I feel like I watched it. When
it's a hoot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Animal crackers is my only takeaway from that movie. Okay, so let's get into round 2 just for a little bit, just for the fun of it, because round 2 was really where a lot happened. In general, there was a lot happening. So I went through today because I was like, I want to go through and see how the questions match up in general. So I saw for Pride there were 2 here's information, give us the movie, and the rest were who plays this in this film. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then for the Butcher Boys, there was 1 who plays this, or no, 2. There were 2 who plays this, and there was 1 that was you could probably tell the answer just from the title of the film, and then the rest were all plot specific. And I thought that's kind of interesting because maybe it's because it's been spun more than Adam Sandler. I'm not sure. Hey, Emma 5, good to see you.
Hey, Emma.
Hey, Emma.
Glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. So I don't know. Is there should it be a little more balanced as to if one team's getting certain plot specific questions, should the other also kind of have that balance? Thoughts to the field.
Someone felt the need to exclaim how easy some of the questions were in the middle of that round. But I do think they kind of got more plot-based stuff, which can be a little bit more difficult. I mean, comparing that to a question about who played Adam Sandler's love interest in 50 First Dates, I think that's comparable to maybe the Canada Yoga Hosers question. So again, it's that whole subjective nature that comes in. I mean, if you don't know who somebody is, like an actor or whatever, then that question's going to be hard for you. So I still think it's can be subjective in round 2.
It can be subjective. Well, it's always subjective. I do have one issue that I want to discuss and see if you have an issue with it or not. And it's not necessarily an issue. I think it's a good question, but I don't know if the proper placement is round 2. And that was the final question. And that was, the question was in Clerks, Randall asked Dante which Star Wars film he prefers. What is Dante's answer? Or how does Dante reply? Something like that at the end.
What does Dante answer? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Clerks came out in 94, which means you only have 3 films to choose from. So you have a 1 in 3 chance already. If you miss, that gives 50-50 to your opponent.
That's true.
That's where I'm kind of is this really properly placed? Again, I think it's a great question, but I think I could see it even as a 2-pointer in round 3, maybe, just because you have the 1 in 3 chance, but definitely round 1. So anyways, I wanted to see what your thoughts are on that, or even a speed round. Speed round could totally work for that too.
Yeah, I think you have a good point because you can kind of deduce what would be left. because it's not going to be Force Awakens or. But also, I guess it does depend on you knowing when the film came out. So there's that, and that could be different for anybody. You know, someone could think maybe, well, did Clerks come out after the Phantom Menace? So you could I could see. So if there was going to be 4 options, like they went to multiple choice, I would like to think it'd be the 3 original films and then Phantom Menace. That would be the most logical multiple choice. But in reality, like, it makes sense that you could be like, well, they only gave us 1 prequel, so it's not a prequel. There's 3 other original trilogy movies, so you can start, deducing what would be left. So I think you do have a good point, though, in terms of placement, because it is a good question, and you have to. And part of that question, though, is you have to listen to the very end of the question, because it says, "What is Dante's answer?" Not necessarily what is Dante's
the
favorite
answer,
movie.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which and the answer given for the steal was Empire, which is correct because that's his answer. However, I don't know if that's the answer that the judges had in their.
No, they probably had Empire Strikes Back.
I'm guessing it was probably the full title, and so there's all those factors. Brandon.
Well, I agree with you, Brianna, that maybe it's not a good round 2 multiple choice question. But also maybe we're overestimating, like maybe like that people know when the movie was released. Like you could have a competitor up there that maybe has no idea when Clerks was ever released. So there is that. But I would think based on the people up there, though, I would think they would
have an idea.
That.
No.
But also, you don't know that category is going to go up it's going to be spun for those specific teams.
Right, that's true.
So, like, there is a margin of randomness that comes along with that question. But I think the main point of yours is that's placed in the second round. I think you're right about that.
But yeah, no. If I were a judge, I would say that Rachel just saying Empire is good enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what Dante says in the movie, and I mean, it's the only Star Wars film with Empire in it, and I'm like, okay, I know you know what you're talking about. I'm not going to split hairs like, well, technically you didn't say the full title, or so I don't know. I don't want to be in a league where we're that.
I get it.
Critical.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I personally will split hairs on one issue, and that's in round 1. The rules are that you have to write down your answer and say it in the microphone, and that's not what people always do. And that, I think I was at the table calling a match recently where I was like, but no. And but then it just kept going. So I was like, but no.
Because I feel like if that's a rule that is stated before the match, it's definitely something that the commentators, who are also the judges, should be responsible for calling out.
And that's something you do in this match. And so that's why it frustrates me, because there's the cute answer over the actual answer. And I don't think that should be allowed. And I think that it's on the judges to be like, you didn't say the answer. We are moving on.
Because there was a very blatant one with Rachel. Was it
Waterboy.
Waterboy. She didn't even say Waterboy.
She didn't even say Waterboy. She said loves that foosball and just held up her board. And they said, "Oh, that's fine."
It said Waterboy, but like, oh, this dude, okay.
He's here. You made it. Congratulations.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is there no echo? Because I can put the headphones on too if you want.
Put the headphones on.
I think it's okay.
You're fine.
But before I say hello to Kevin,
continue.
I do want to say I agree with you about the round 1 having to verbalize the answer. That's something that I actually look for all the time when I'm watching matches. And like, as a little behind the scenes, because why not? People like hearing this kind of stuff, I guess. I was standing next to Kate for that match because obviously I want to be there to support my faction. If there's anything going on, I want to be there to support Kate, to support the Pride. And when Rachel didn't verbalize her answer, I immediately leaned in next to Kate and said, she didn't verbalize her answer. You need to make sure that she always verbalizes her answer, or we can end up in trouble. Right. So that's something I let Kate know that was something she needed to look for, and not just Rachel, but in
Everyone,
Well,
yeah.
No,
To
but
make
also
sure we
managers.
verbalize our answers.
See, that's the other thing. Like their manager, Kaiser, needs to be on top of that too. He needs to be the one that's like, she did not answer.
Sure.
She didn't give her answer. So then they can say, oh, we're taking a point away from you. You
Yeah,
know,
'cause
like he has to be on it.
Try pulling that when you're sitting across from Dan Rill and John Roca. They will point that out, and you will lose a point.
Yeah.
Because, you try to be cute.
Oh, yeah. If John Drew didn't verbalize an answer, I would have been way up his ass
Exactly.
about it.
There it is.
But let's take just a short little break. I want to read out some super chats that came in. So Movie Finobi says, cosplay without Hot Wonka. What dystopian universe is this? Hey, Brianne, my lovely Janine and friends, sorry for harassing you and Morgan with voicemail. Oh, you're not harassing anyone. I mean, I speak for Janine's show.
He left about
Time it, you weirdos.
He left about 3 voice messages for our show, so we appreciate those. Never a bother. Thank you.
He wants you to also sing again. Sing, Janine, sing.
Okay, well,
Cheer up, Charlie.
That's a callback to last week.
Yes. Okay. Well, I need a request. I can't just.
Okay. Well,
Cheer up,
I'll let you know
cheer
what
up,
comes
Charlie.
in.
Charlie needs cheering
And
up.
then,
Cheer up,
all
Charlie.
right. Thank
Cheer him
you,
up.
boys. And then Randall.
That's terrible. Is that the song I'm going to sing every week?
Hey.
Maybe. Randall Sands also put in a super chat that says, so glad you guys are doing this. Thanks, Randall. We're so glad that you are here. Like, I feel like it's been forever.
Hi, Randall.
Yeah.
I missed you.
We all
Hi,
miss
hi,
Randall.
Randall. Hi, Randall.
All right. So back to the match. Kevin, we want to know your thoughts on this match.
I didn't rewatch it. Now that it's been online, but I was there.
Okay.
This is are you talking about the Pride versus
Yeah.
Butcher Boys?
Yes.
Yeah. That was interesting because
That was a match.
It was fine.
there was a winner.
Wait,
there was
so
a loser.
we do need to.
I remember being there, and as obviously like Silver Streeny's a friend. She's one of the first people that I came to know. She actually came up to me right after my debut, and at first I didn't know if she was commenting on my entrance or my gameplay. The first sentence she ever said to me in real life was, "Oh my God, you are effing scary." And I was like, no one's ever said that to me before. So I knew the character was working. But that said, when she went off the rails in that one question and was just jawing back and forth. I just remember as a friend being like, "What are you doing?" Like, there's a time and place for that.
So, to kind of go on that, it should
Oh,
be
did I
noted-
jump ahead?
No. Okay, because it's going to be obvious to about like 2,000 people who watched it on Patreon on Monday. Because if you try to click the new link that was on Patreon Tuesday,
They changed it.
It was changed.
Mhm.
So it's
So
not
what?
like to.
Well, they had to update the score at the very end.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things. The score was incorrect, and so
And the match
updated
was
that.
maybe 30 seconds shorter for
So they
things
cut
that
the back
people-
and forth and stuff?
Yeah, you can tell if you had watched it on Monday and then you watched it Tuesday or today. Like I later found out today, actually, you'll notice there it's about 30-40 seconds shorter because of some things were removed, and then obviously.
And
there's some
what were those
corrections with
things, Frank?
Well, it was just softball type arguments. Some heelish stuff was then omitted. It's not really a secret, I think.
Why do you think
So-
that they made that decision? Why do you think that decision was made?
Because
a
I
good
paid them to.
That makes sense, yeah. That's a good question because I think because if other teams or other players or new rookies coming into the league see that type of behavior, then they might think that they can do it as well. So you take it out of the match entirely. No one sees that that's what happens. And then you kind of maybe curb it in that way. Even though it's not really a big problem, I feel like it's
it's
it randomly.
It's a rule now. Like I was
Yeah.
told before when I was managing the family, we were told before that match that any heelish behavior can only happen in, pre-interview, post-interview, and in between rounds. Nothing like that in round during questions. None of that can be allowed.
let me ask you this to be fair. That match was after this match had been taped, correct?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think probably that's where it's
The new
coming from.
mandate.
Yes. So I'm saying
Yeah.
that's probably why it was cut now because
Yeah.
you know, and so now
How are
that's
they
kind of
gonna-
an official
I mean,
rule.
now that guy's a good guy anyway, but like, how would they put a muzzle on that guy in a match? Like, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think you can abuse it, but you know, the back and forth when someone's trying to answer.
There's a lot you can do without actually saying anything, though.
But here's the
True.
thing with Rachel, though. She was answering and then engaged to the other person, and the other person went back and forth. And it was that one thing,
Right.
kind of like what just happened with me and Brandon trying to coordinate. It was one of those things where he talked exactly when she started to get back in focus. Then she stopped, looked at him like, wait, what did you say? And then right when she started to answer again, then he corrected himself. And so it was that awkward trying to unlock the door, stop lifting the handle, unlock the door. So I
Right.
think there's a little bit of that going on. If they cut it out, there was a reason, so.
I always love when that happens with my kids
Shout
in
out
the
to
car.
Emma, by the way. I see her. She's in our new Revan series. We cast her. So
Oh, that's
Aw,
awesome.
yeah,
Congratulations,
Emma, check your
Emma.
email soon. We're gonna have you record like in the next 2 weeks. That's cool. Sorry. Back to- I just don't know
Casting
how long
update
to
right
do
here.
that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Casting
it.
news, guys. Casting news.
Breaking story.
All right. And then in round 3, I'm just taking a look. Since Pride didn't have to answer anything, I was wondering if any of you knew the Mystic Pizza answer.
No.
Wait, what was the question?
The question was like when she breaks up with this guy, what does she leave in his car or something like
Oh,
that?
yeah,
Or
what
what
does
does
she
she,
fill
what
his
does
car
she
with?
fill his
His car
with?
with. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remembered saying to Sean Sullivan that Brett Sheridan would know the answer because it's his favorite movie.
Oh.
Like, those are kind of questions I wonder too. Like, had I seen the movie in the last 5 years, would I remember?
Yeah.
You
Would
know,
remember, yeah.
like 5 years ago. So that's the level of singles where it's like, all right, you got to brush up on. Do you brush up on everything? How do you keep sharp? Kind of how we do in IG.
Right.
Because there's certain things like that where it's like, even if you've seen it and it's checked off on your list, you saw it, you know, in
However many years ago.
Yeah, are you going to remember that in an overtime match or, you know, round 5 or
Yeah.
match? But
This is definitely one that I didn't know. I was just thinking like salt, like thinking like in his gas tank. So that way it would just, like,
Pizza. Yeah.
Was it pizzas?
Is it fish from the Mystic Aquarium?
it's mystical pizza.
Oh, it's magic pizza.
Wow.
Anyways, and then yeah, so that was it. That was that match. Post-match interviews. Any comments on that, guys? Before we move on.
I wasn't quite sure what Rachel was talking about in her post interview.
I don't.
Did they change that too, Frank? Did they change
I
any
don't
of
know.
that?
I didn't look.
When she was kind of trying to call out the Butcher Boys and say that they need to learn how to take smack talk or something. Like,
Oh yeah,
I didn't know
like
where
she went through it and they got to go through it and it was like, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it was
guess
a little-
that won't make much sense
I don't
now.
I love you, Rachel, but you almost blew your answer.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say I have like a good 5-minute rant on the rundown, but
but maybe you do.
maybe I do.
Maybe 4 minutes and 59
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, something like that.
Clocking
Yeah,
in
something
at
I feel like
4
Rachel's going to come in from behind Brandon right now and start choking him out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I
Every
probably
door
should
lock?
have locked my door.
Yeah.
She's probably trying to pick it right now.
I did appreciate that Vinny is basically the Orange Cassidy of the Schmodown with his outfit and his just demeanor overall. That's just this character in AEW that like just does not care and wears like a jean jacket and has his hands in his pocket the whole
Has
time.
a margarita in a blender with a little swirly straw. Like,
So I appreciated that about him.
I think Vinny's for real. I think he's going to
Yeah.
be really good. We were really hoping that he was going to get a slot in the free-for-all, and I think he would do really well. So I think both those guys, I'm not meaning to leave out Owen too, but just in conversations that I had with him and stuff like that, like, you know, I really think he can have a stellar career.
Their
Yeah.
first round was really good. I mean, they both got 7.
yeah,
so
they played really great.
and if they get a category that isn't detrimental to them the way Kevin Smith was, who knows, you know, what they can
how
do.
well they would have done. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Kaiser's
played
in the
great.
chat, by the way.
I don't
Yeah,
even
I
know
see him.
No picture of Margarita.
what's what.
Kaiser's
Oh,
in the-
Kaiser, hey.
He's asking
Wow.
me if I'm quarantined in the circus.
That's a fair question. I mean, look at you. Look at you.
Sure.
I mean,
All right, so the next question I have is, what's up for next week, Frank?
that would be Who's the Boss versus The Odd Couple.
It's not Smets versus Kanopik? What?
No.
You gotta,
No.
listen to backstage for all that stuff. Next week that's a big match because that's a revenge match.
The
I'm
second
looking forward.
second meeting
Yeah,
of these two.
since Chicago, which is ironically, actually, this is how I got this. In Chicago the last time, Who's the Boss and the Odd Couple played, I went up to Dagnino and I said, the Odd Couple is going to win because he was managing, obviously, the Who's the Boss. And I said, if the Odd Couple wins, if they beat Who's the Boss, then you got to give me your hoodie. This is what he was wearing. And sure enough, Who's the Boss lost. And
He made good on
me
it.
the hoodie.
Oh,
And this is a one of a
That's how
kind.
you got that.
Yeah, one of a kind, limited edition. It's a
All right.
collector's item.
Better.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Oh my gosh, really?
You got a Mets hat? Oh, I
Oh,
see.
what
I
is
see how it
going on
is.
here?
We got the Dodgers hat. We need the Mets hat.
He's trying to challenge the
I get
Smasher
it.
over
I
here.
get it.
Okay.
This is from the year that we beat the Dodgers in the NLDS, by the way, Game 5. Just
Okay.
So you know. Dagnino was there. He'll tell you all about it. Pretty sure he hugged Terry Collins. It was amazing. It's on
Hey,
TV.
I like the Mets. I share four of my 5 letters of my name, Mets. That Dagnino calls me the New York Smets.
That makes-
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, he calls me the New York Smets. And it's funny is I didn't understand why. I was like, because I didn't meet him in New York, and I for some reason didn't click. And I used to have a fantasy baseball team called the Kev's New York Smets or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out. And he's like, dude, the Smets, your name Smets. New York.
I love this story. Thank you for
Guys,
sharing it.
Brandon Hanna's wearing toilet paper on his head. You should be less wasteful with toilet paper, Brandon.
This is not toilet paper. This is very expensive. Okay, I bought this at the World Series, by the way.
Nice, dude.
Okay.
We did get a super chat from Movie Finobi that says Kaiser doing everything but watching
Oh.
the store.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaiser, I should tell you this. This is funny. I have feedback from my dad, who
And we're gonna tell that later on your show.
Oh man. Oh man.
I am totally joking. I would like you to continue.
That's good. Never mind. But Kaiser, I'll text you about it.
Just say it, Kevin. Come on.
Just that my dad innocently with my niece sat down to watch the stream of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and about 2 minutes in, Kaiser was about 17 F-bombs in. That my dad said, and I quote, "I think Kaiser's favorite word is shit." So we had to turn it off. So we might want to try to go a little PG because it
Next
showed up on
time.
his feed, and my niece was like, "I want to watch Smets, or I want to watch Kevin."
Yeah.
You gotta check out Press Play on Kevin's channel. When is the next one?
Who knows at this point with the COVID stuff? We'll figure it out.
All right. You don't want to do it via StreamYard?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's not very
Sounds
enthusiastic.
like a no. That sounds like a no.
Could be. All right. So who do you guys think is gonna take it in this one? If you had
Which one?
to guess. Who is the boss versus Odd Couple 2?
Well, I don't like Ben Bateman at
Mhm.
all.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a joke. I don't know if you saw when I called him a joke, but he's a joke. I'm going with the Odd Couple.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Who's the Boss, just because I don't think Ben can stomach to lose 2 in a row, especially to a team that I think he feels like they're better than the Odd Couple.
I think he feels he's better
Yeah.
than most, which he is.
Sick burn, Brianne.
I mean, I don't know. Right? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's all for next week. I think, Janine, what do you think?
Well, considering Who's the Boss is made up of 2 people who beat me, I could be
Mm,
spiteful and say Odd Couple.
Wow,
But
way to
since
bring
they-
that up, Brianne. Good job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Real
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Real nice.
But since they did beat me, I mean, I guess I'll say them because they're just that good, I guess.
Kevin? Thoughts on this?
Am I allowed to share? Okay. I didn't
Yes,
know.
please
Oh,
share.
jeez.
Uh,
I have a mouth
Who's
in
the
my
boss? You can't. I think in Draco, I really want that guy because he's the nicest dude ever. I love that guy. I really want him to do better. Not better. He's done well, but I really want him to really have an awesome year this year. But I think it's gonna start with a loss. I got Who's the Boss.
I'm gonna go with I'm tired of Finstock Exchange, so I'm gonna just go with Odd Couple.
That's fair.
All right. That's a
fair.
fair
Finstock
point.
Exchange
Fair
with
point.
400 points so far.
With 400 matches and 400 points.
I mean, it's really not that great per game average. 1 point? Come on. Really?
All right. Here's some other topics for you. What's the last movie you watched?
Oh.
I literally just got done watching The Raid for the first time.
Oh,
was it?
that's
Oh,
so
I wouldn't think
good.
of that.
It's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Good.
That is a good one.
Lot of
The Raid,
action.
I like The Raid better than The Raid 2 because The Raid 2 I feel like goes way over. I don't know. Anyone else see Raid 2?
I
have
have
not.
not.
Okay. But anyways, it's just it's over the top for me. And I was like, I really liked The Raid and I was looking for more of that. And it starts out as more of that, but then it just continues and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're like, oh, okay, no thanks anymore. I mean, I was said no thanks anymore. Anyway, thank you for
Mine and
sharing.
Frank should be the same, but it's not because I had to tap out. When Kaiser comes over, he doesn't leave. That's not. He's welcome to stay as long as he wants, but he keeps drinking, and eventually I have to tap out. So my last movie would be after Crystal Skull. We watched Midnight Run, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
one of my favorite movies. Frank will have seen another movie after me, so I'll let him talk. But yeah, Midnight Run with Charles Grodin and De Niro, like you know, when you're done with Crystal Skull, and he's like, I have the movie for you. This is going to be great. And you know, I had heard of it, but never seen it, you know, and just when you finally see those movies, it really makes me like feel like I'm wasting my life watching these IG movies 50 times because there's so many diamonds out there. And it makes me excited, by the way, for either retiring or going into singles because there's so many movies I want to see. But yeah, Midnight Run.
I haven't seen it.
Did we watch Midnight Run before or after?
You watched Snapshot when I went to bed, bro.
No, I know, but right. But I'm talking about Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Did we watch that before or after Midnight Run?
I don't remember. We were pretty eager at that time.
Yeah, it was, you know.
Both of those
yeah,
movies were great.
the last movie I did watch was Slapshot. So
Oh, nice.
I was in bed.
I love
Yeah.
Slapshot.
it was great.
Slapshot was on at this restaurant at downtown Disney, and my daughter was like watching it, and she was like, "I like this movie. What's this?" Like it was, she couldn't hear it. You know, you just see the images. She's like, "I want to watch that movie later." I was like, "No, we're not going to be doing that." But maybe when you're a little older, okay. So, yeah.
I watched Knives Out last night.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Like it.
First time or just a repeat?
It was my second time. I saw it in the theater and then I bought it, and so I watched it for the second time.
Cable knit
Well,
sweaters, Chris Evans.
Yes. Oh,
I guess.
The best.
Well, not Janine, but did anybody ever do the audio commentary that Ryan Johnson released and then go back to the theater and listen to the audio commentary?
Have you done that?
No, but I was hoping I would know somebody that did, and I don't. So
Why?
there's that.
No,
Right.
you don't. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah. Once again, all my friends disappoint me.
Brandon?
What? I already
You
told
said the
you.
raid.
Listen, I can't keep track of all these people. All right, so
What about you, Miss Movies?
mine was Ferris Bueller's Day Off because my kids wanted to know. They love this guy named Zach King on Instagram and YouTube, and he does like magic. And his videos are all magic and editing, and he's amazing. And he did this one that was a Ferris Bueller Day Off, you know, parody. And I was like, oh, that's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And then my kids said, oh yeah, it's also in Fortnite. And I was like, okay, how do you know this? Number one. And then I said, well, why don't we watch the movie together? So that way you can see, you know, what it's all about. So we did. There's a lot of swearing. But
They like it?
they liked it. My son like ran it. Like I watched most of it with them. And then I don't remember when I went up to do something, but he came up and was like, the car just went through the window. And he was very excited about that. So that's how that is. That's how that is.
You know what's also in Fortnite is Emperor Palpatine's broadcast to the
Oh
galaxy.
my god. It's terrible.
It makes Fortnite's canon, right?
Yeah, Fortnite is Star Wars canon, which I guess therefore Ferris Bueller's Day Off
Is Star Wars canon? Is that how that works?
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Dead speak.
Very good.
I wonder how the Sausage King of Chicago would fare in a battle.
Abe Froman,
Right.
he's great. Yeah, Abe Froman. I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah, what do they think of Abe Froman in Chicago? Like, what's the deal?
It's
Tell us
just-
the deal. Is this a real
legend.
person?
I
Like,
mean,
what's the
To
deal?
you guys, he's Abe Froman, the Sausage King. To us, he's Abe Froman, the sausage guy. So
Oh,
Tell us,
okay.
Frank.
He's
how
not a
that is
king?
True.
no, he's just
No.
He's just Abe, good old
yeah,
Abe.
he's just good old Abe. I don't even know if Abe Froman is an actual dude.
Let's look that up.
Yeah, I think that was just for the
I
movie.
mean, we
I
have a
don't know.
lot to do now that we don't have anywhere to go, so we might as well look that up, right? What are you guys? What's your social distancing updates? Anything new? Anything going on? Anything
Well,
exciting?
I take the bus to work. I still have to go to work, so I
Yes.
take the bus to work. And what they've done on the bus is it's actually free to ride now because they don't want you going to the front of the bus paying and being
Right.
near the driver. So like they've roped it off, so you have to enter on the back of the bus, and then when I get on the bus, I get all the way to the back, so no one ever has to come by me, and I take it as far as I need to take it, and then I get off, and then I go to work. And actually, at work, we have like break rooms, and we had like groups of tables, but now they've separated all the tables and things like that, and there's more outside break area, and so they're trying to like keep us separated. But I work in an airport, so there's only so much distance you can
Right.
keep.
Yeah, me and Frank joke about it because he's staying with me right now, and every time he comes home, he resets my 14 days. So
Yeah.
like, I cannot see my family. Every time I come from work, it's another 14 days before I go home. So I gave him my last because he goes on a
Hand
freaking
sanitizer.
bus, dude. He goes on a bus. I'm telling you, take my car, but he says there's no parking.
No. The thing is, no. I don't have a parking pass yet for the employee garage, and so I don't want to pay for parking. And I haven't done the pass. It's fine taking the bus. It's fine because I sit by nobody. I don't even touch the rails on the
Well,
on
just
the,
make
on the
him-
bus.
You hit the
and-
rails.
Make him strip down and jump in the pool before he comes back in.
Yeah, Silkwood shower. That's all you really need.
I don't see that
that's a
happening.
reference to a
so
movie.
I don't see that happening.
The chlorine will kill all the germs. You're fine.
Look, I haven't been sick once since I've been here. Other
You're
people.
asymptomatic. You're very impressive. Asymptomatic.
Well, I mean, hey, I think we're all fine here, right? We're all fine, right? Right?
We're fine.
Okay, Han Solo.
Everything's fine.
Well,
How are
Freaked
you?
out, insecure, neurotic.
And emotional.
Emotional.
Sorry, wrong question to answer this group. I can't even ask the question because there's so many,
You know.
Don't you know?
I do know.
I don't. Yeah. See, there you go. Now you know.
You
I
know.
do.
We
Kevin,
know.
what's your update? Because you weren't here last week. So
Yeah, man.
what's your day today?
They finally set me up working remote. So, and they gave us really good this software, and it's a special HP system that they installed into the edit bay. So I accessed that. It's funny. I got a new. Thanks, Kaiser.
Yeah.
I got a new system, but then it loads up Windows. So the Avid that I'm working off is working Windows, but on my new iMac. But working from home's been interesting. I try to do as much as I can as far as getting up, showering, changing, acting like it. I've had a couple days where I haven't felt well. I think it's psychosomatic. I think it's in my head, and I think I'm a little bummed, like because my girlfriend lives far away, and we were supposed to see each other next week, and that's not happening now. And this is the first time where we literally don't have plans for the next time to see each other. So, yeah, it kind of wears down a little bit. So I'm not the happy guy that I usually am. But working from home has been nice, and I don't work in my underwear, as a lot of editors have been joking on. They're like, every reality show you watch in the next 8 months, just understand it's cut by some dude in his underwear in his living room or something. But not me. I do it fully clothed. But
Thank God.
Kevin, you said psychosomatic. Does that mean you can like start fires?
That's good. That's real good.
That's a Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby reference.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
future singles champion.
I'm
right
not paying attention.
now.
I'm not a
Oh,
Will Ferrell
that's
is
a
not
deep
my
cut.
slice. Will Ferrell is not my slice.
Oh. That's too bad. There is no Will Ferrell slice. There should be.
No.
Well, obviously you're gonna say no.
Of course,
I would take that over the Tyler Perry slice.
I'm all about Will Ferrell in a supporting role, but not in a starring role, and I don't know why. I can't do it.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why. But
Right.
also this. So yeah.
Oh,
Oh boy. Oh no. Okay.
Enjoy the show, Frankie.
So I've decided homeschooling is not for me. I'm giving my notice and just gonna be like, yeah, we're done with this.
It's not like you're not feeling like Dead Poet Society changing lives.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Captain, my captain. My kids say it every morning. Like, welcome to school. It's just it's real dark. It's real dark over here. Where I am. Please send help. Okay, but yeah, that's my social distancing update. I finally broke down and emailed the school to be like, I need you guys to not give me so much work to give to them. I was just like, I can't do 6 different subjects every single day. It's not. It's
I
was like, this isn't high school. We're not trying to get into some sort of Ivy League college right now.
Right.
Just chilled a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's it's towards the end of the year. What else they got to learn, really? Come on.
I know.
Really, what else they got to? If they can read, they're good.
I think they're good.
Come on.
We'll just
teach them to
estimate.
balance a checkbook. No one ever teaches kids to balance a checkbook. Teach them stuff they can use.
That's because that's just addition and subtraction, Frank.
Well, some people need to know what column to put the numbers in. Brandon.
Also, that's all done for you on the internet these days.
Damn it,
Brandon! All right, guys, let's move on to Boy Meets World.
Okay, I guess nobody cares what's going on with me. That's fine.
Janine, what's up with you?
Fine.
We're going back.
I didn't get asked either.
Wow. I'm back at work. I work at a surgical hospital, so numbers have considerably dropped. They've decided to only do emergency surgeries, like if your knee is going to fall off and you have to have your knee surgery, then yeah. So we have a limited amount of patients. We are not no guests are allowed. We used to have guests who could stay overnight. That is done. In next month, they may start cutting hours and giving us extended hours to be at home and to fill that gap. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Back at work, and home is okay. Mr. Machine was sick last week. He is doing better. He's going back to work next week. He works at a tractor supply store, so the farmers need their tractors, so he will be going back to work. And
essential.
Good.
Yes.
Don't they also sell chickens there?
They do.
That's essential.
If you buy a chicken for $13,000, they throw in a tractor absolutely free. It's great.
It's
fantastic.
Yeah, how did you know about that deal? Yeah.
Brandon.
So also, essential surgeries only. I guess Noah Syndergaard just got Tommy John surgery because they deemed that essential for some reason. Life of a Mets fan. I know, it's terrible. I've been mostly working from home, but I did go into work for what I like to call a reverse half day yesterday.
There's still a half day.
I went in from noon. No, a half day is when you get in the morning and you leave at lunch.
Okay.
I got in after lunch and left at the end of the day.
So a half a day.
Reverse half
It's still a half day. The first half or the second half, it's still a half day.
I have so much to teach you, Frank. I need to tell you, have you heard of the balanced day theory? When you come in late, you have to leave early so that your day is balanced around new time.
I don't want theories, Brandon. I want facts. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, you still worked half a day.
Reverse half day, yeah.
God damn it.
What's your quote say behind you, Brandon?
Half a day. I worked a half a day.
There's no quote. It's just
on your wall, behind your bed. No.
Oh, that?
Yeah.
That's not a quote. That's a photograph of Endy Chavez robbing Scott Rowland of a home run in the 2006 National League Championship Series.
Sweet.
Right over the outfield sign for AIG that
what does the sign say?
Says the strength to be there, and it's autographed. I don't know if I mentioned it's autographed by Indy Chavez.
Oh, wow.
The Mets still lost that game, and the Cardinals went on to the World Series, and then they went on to win the World Series. And I'll be honest, I cried that night. If Skaliski is watching right now, I'm sure he's laughing.
If the game got rained out halfway through, would they call it a half day or a reverse half day?
A reverse half day.
That would be a half day because if they start in the 4th inning and finish in the 9th, then that's a reverse half day.
No, that's not even a game. That's nothing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Actually, I mean, the playoffs are a different animal entirely, but I believe once you get through 5.5 innings in a Major League Baseball game,
all right, let me ask you this, Brandon.
You could call the game. That's happened before.
If the regular season was an animal, what animal would it be?
Obviously, a tiger.
A tiger. Okay. And then what's the postseason animal?
That would be a walrus.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we got that straight.
There's animals? Yeah. What's happening?
I can't believe you don't know these things.
I just
was that a rehearsed bit? I can't tell what's going on right now.
No, it's just a bit.
Listen,
it was a reverse half bit.
Yeah.
Frank is a White Sox fan. He doesn't know any better.
It's 2006, man. It's 2006. 2005. I'm sorry, 2005.
Wow, he doesn't even know the year.
Hi, Christina.
World Series.
You're awesome.
Thanks, Christina. Hey, Christina. Happy to help you. I don't know if I.
Hey,
I was
you know who took that picture?
Really help?
I know who took that picture.
Was it you?
It was me.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
Because it's a good picture. That's how I know it was me. That's right.
You're a great photographer. You should do that for a living.
Okay.
All right, right now.
Right.
Let's talk Boy Meets World, everyone, because we had homework and it was to watch one episode of Boy Meets World. And so now I want us to discuss this.
Okay.
It's very important to me.
It's not, but but it's important to me.
Okay, good. So which episode did you watch?
I'm going on a tangent on a stream. Homework.
So I watched not one, not two. I watched maybe 10 episodes.
17. Okay.
I watched 10 episodes, but the very first one I did watch, I forget what episode number, but it's the one where Sean joins a cult.
Oh my gosh.
What season is that? Wait,
season 5, I think. Okay. I think it's season 5.
All right.
I think season 5.
No, I think it was before that. Because season 5 is when he meets his brother Jack and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. It's 4. It's 4. It's halfway. It's in the back half of 4, I think.
So you didn't get the good theme song yet.
The reverse.
Yeah. I did reverse season 4, and so it's Sean joins a cult, and it's a really great episode. But I was also thinking, in today's world, they would never do this. The way they tell the story, it's in the first segment, Sean is getting introduced to the cult. And then you go to a commercial break. You come back from the commercial break, and Sean's in a cult. He's deep into the cult life. And then you go to another commercial, you come back, and then they drag him out of the cult. It's but it's I know, it's really quick. So it's a great episode, though. And I even tweeted a GIF about it. And it's where, Sean or Corey is hugging Sean and is you give people a hug when to let them know that you care about them. Boy Meets World has some of the best messages in episodes. I can't believe how great the show is. Seriously. Also, it's the episode where Turner gets in a motorcycle accident, and then you don't see him.
He just disappeared.
He disappeared. Is he still in the hospital bed, in a coma?
Well, I believe he comes back.
Oh, he does come back
in Girls Meets World.
Yeah, he does.
I think so.
Yeah. But so that was one of the handful of episodes that I watched, and I watched the rest of that season into the 5th season when they meet Jack, his brother. But after that, I was like, you know what? I'm watching the whole series. I went back to episode 1.
All right.
Let me tell you, they still hold up. I mean, it's a great series to show your kids, probably, for real.
Probably.
If you're on 6th, 7th grade, yeah.
I was going to start to show them some episodes, but they're really into If You Give a Mouse a Cookie right now, so I'm going to keep that going. Keep that train going, and then maybe we'll get into this at some point. I watched the Singled Out episode, as well as Easy Street, both of which were from season 4. Singled Out obviously had the show Singled Out on it from MTV by Brandon.
Brandon.
He did not like that. He doesn't like talking about Boy Meets World.
So we'll remove him for right now. Maybe he'll be back. I'll wait till his camera comes back up.
He's probably going to go watch Boy Meets World right now.
There we go. He's watching Boy Meets World. Correct.
He's watching his episode right now.
I thought Jenny McCarthy would be the host of Singled Out when they had it, but it was Chris Hardwick, and I was like, oh my gosh.
No, Chris Hardwick was always the host.
Why did I think Jenny McCarthy was?
She was
She
like
was.
she would like be there and like talk to the audience and stuff.
Okay.
She was like a co-host.
Yeah, oh, got it. She wasn't actually on the episode though, so there was that. But yeah,
They couldn't,
and then
they
I
couldn't
watched.
afford it probably.
I watched Easy Street, where basically Corey's working for the mob, doesn't really know that he's working for the mob. And then Sean's like, you're working for the mob. And so then Corey quits and then Sean takes the job. And I was like, what's going on here?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty scandalous.
And then Corey has to tell Sean to not work for the mob anymore. That's kind of, that was basically, it just kept going. The circle of life.
Can I just say real quick?
You can.
Okay. One of the very first episodes I was watching is when it's in season 1 when the grandma comes visits, but then Feeney's niece is also in town. This is before they made Eric like a class clown.
Dumb.
Yeah. But like Feeney's niece is Carrie Russell.
Russell. Oh yeah.
I was like,
Nice.
damn. I was like, whew. That's it. That's my story.
That's
That's my story. I had to say it. I had to say it. I was like, wow. Okay.
Okay.
There he is. You missed my great Carrie Russell story. That's
It was
all
so
right.
good. It was so good.
I heard that.
Okay.
It was
good.
a reverse half story about
Yeah,
Carrie
Carrie
Russell.
Russell. She's very bliss in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker on the planet Kijimi. Kevin knows all about it.
Yeah. Hey,
What
Kev.
episode did you write?
I actually did stop and watch an episode, and I think I
Nice.
picked the most bizarre episode ever, and I was like, "What the f am I watching right now?" So the show, I think it's season 5, and it was funny. It was appropriate. I didn't even think about this. It was timely in one sense. It's called Eric Hollywood. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'll tell you the Eric story in a second, but Sean and Topanga and Lawrence. I don't know the Lawrence character's name. Sorry.
Topanga Lawrence, Corey Matthews, Sean Hunter.
Sean Hunter. Who plays Matthew Lawrence's brother? What's his character name?
You're
Jack.
talking about Jack, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Really? Matthew Lawrence's brother? Okay. Well, he showed they both have chicken pox, so Topanga locks them down in the apartment and they can't leave.
Oh,
Right after
yeah,
Topanga
that's
broke up with
right.
Corey. So then already I was like, God, I can't get away from it. Like, you're not allowed to leave, and it's like 2 people with like fights all
Very
over.
topical.
Then the Eric storyline, he's in a Shakespeare play and he's like really good.
Oh.
So then he gets invited to be on a show called Kid Greets Universe or something. So it's like a copy of Boy Meets World.
Oh yeah.
And then they have these asshole versions of Ben Savage plays some character name that's like an asshole version of Corey, like, and there's actors playing their own characters, and then Ben Savage Corey gets so mad at the writing, he's like, "What is it, you guys, a bunch of kids?" And then he goes off stage and then he yells at the writers. And all the writers are like 4-year-olds. And
That was amazing. I need to watch this one.
he's like, "You're fired," and he fires everybody. And then all the kids like do that, and then they walk away. Well, I'm thinking at any moment it's going to be Eric waking up backstage at Shakespeare. Then he ends up getting fired for hilarity reasons, and then he gets sent home or whatever. And so it really happened. And I was like, I can't. In the final scene, he gets home and he's telling Corey what happened. And then Corey says something back to him and he's like, "That's not the right line." And then Eric loses his shit and like throws laundry everywhere. He's like, "I quit." And then he leaves and the camera pans off camera to the side of all the things. So it went like meta like 3 times. It was bizarre. But I like it was creative writing. So
Wait, hold on. I gotta say the best Eric bit ever that cracks me up to this day is, I forget what season it is. It's a later 7 or 8, only 7 seasons.
yeah, Eric's funny,
7.
by the way. I have to say that.
Yeah.
There's where Corey's on trial and Eric is his lawyer and he walks into the People's Court music and it's playing and he puts his briefcase on the table, opens up, pulls out the recorder and stops the theme music. It kills me every time. Every time it kills me.
Star
love your
Drew
love
just
for
did a
this.
quote from it. That's hilarious. She just quoted the episode. You guys wouldn't get it, but that's funny.
Who did?
Star Drew, she wrote Sean was very shy in that version because Sean,
Oh, okay.
he's really shy, the actor, and then Ben Savage is like
Right.
and it was this really bizarro world, and I was like, that's really funny.
Jake says yes.
Okay.
Oh, this storyline. Oh.
Yeah, so that plays into the one I picked. So I
Yeah,
picked,
what
and
is
then
that?
there was
listen, Ginny.
I picked, and then there was Sean. It was a whole Halloween episode. So Corey and Topanga have just broken up because Linda Cardellini came into the picture, and so they're all in detention.
Just like in The Founder.
And they're all in detention, and there's like one kid who's in detention with them, and he's obviously not part of the core group. So they keep telling him he's gonna be the one who gets killed. And he's like, I'm not gonna get killed. And then sure enough, he gets killed, and his name's Kenny. So Eric has to shout, "Oh my God, they killed Kenny!" And then Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up as Jennifer Love Pfefferman, and she just starts making out with Eric. They literally just meet and they start making out because I think they were actually dating at the time.
Nice.
And what else happens? Jack and Eric show up and they're trying to figure out who the killer is. And since Angela the whole time, she is like the one who's screaming at everything. And then Jack tells her, "You're really good at that." And then when Jennifer Love Pfefferman shows up, she's obviously, star of I Know What You Did Last Summer. She starts screaming and Angela looks at her like, "Bitch, like what? No, I'm the screamer here." And she tells her that. She tells her, "I'm the screamer here." And she screams in her face. So a lot of fun meta things. Then you find out the killer is Sean, and he's having a dream because he feels like it's his fault that Corey and Topanga broke up, and it's his responsibility to kill everybody else to keep them together. And so it's a fun one.
So educate me on the show. They do a lot of crazy
meta stuff. Right?
They do stuff like that. It's kind of interesting.
It's but I will say, growing up, the couples, it was Ross and Rachel, Corey and Topanga. Those two are iconic, at least when I was growing up. And
my buddy Danny and I met Topanga, well, the actress, not the actual character, at a bar in San Diego, I think. And she was recently engaged or something, and so she had a big old ring on it. But she was very friendly. She's very, because you remember her. We all had crushes on her when we were kids.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, everyone's looking for their Topanga. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only difference is that Ross and Rachel are terrible people.
I mean, that's true too. But Ross more than Rachel. Well, I mean, yeah.
So is Mary Jane Watson in the Raimi trilogy. She's a horrible person. She cheats on everybody. She's horrible.
Okay, in Spider-Man 3, that is all 100% Peter Parker's fault. Okay?
Yeah, he's pretty terrible.
Kisses.
Doesn't he slap her in the face? Doesn't he beat her? Doesn't he physically abuse her? He slaps her in the face.
Aside from that part,
he kisses Gwen Stacy
right in front of her. Yeah.
Upside.
What do you think happened? What movie came first, Spider-Man 2 or 1 or 3? Spider-Man 1.
Well, if it's a reverse half,
reverse half.
It came after.
All that shit happened in 3 because she was terrible to him in 1 and 2, dude. And in 3, he finally starts doing well, and she's like, and he tries to propose to her. He has the whole thing with the never mind. But she cheats on everybody in every movie. She cheats on someone once.
I mean, yeah. No, not her brief cameo in Anchorman 2.
No, I just mean the character Mary Jane. Yeah.
Brandon, what about your episode?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I totally forgot I was supposed to watch an episode of Boy Meets World this week.
Of course you did.
I mean, the real truth is that the man, he doesn't do homework, so.
Oh, okay. Well.
Oh, I could say something here, but I'm not gonna.
Just
I
do
could
it.
say something, but I'm not gonna. No, I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean.
Swear to God, Frank.
On camera.
Don't you bring him up.
See, he already knows. They were on a break, PC. They were on a break. She literally says, "I need a break," and he's like, "Cool, want to get some ice cream?" And she's like, "No, from us." That's a break.
Listen, okay, that's wishy-washy. The only thing I'll agree with Ross ever is that one time that guy ate his sandwich. That was messed up.
That is true. That is very true.
Oh, his moist
maker.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
He had every right to be upset about.
You know who was not on a break? Mary Jane Watson in the race.
Bringing it back. Bringing it
It
back.
was on a reverse half break. Okay?
The back half.
Okay, do you want to marry some broke loser from Queens that you don't know is Spider-Man, or do you want to date an astronaut?
Well,
Why did she try to kiss Parker then at a cafe while she was still dating said astronaut?
Well, I
Well,
don't
she was
know.
engaged.
During the dance?
She was engaged. She said astronaut.
Does that ring mean nothing, Brandon?
no, but really, like Topanga. Everyone's looking for their Topanga.
You just circle it back.
Topanga,
Topanga, guys.
Topanga.
Topanga.
Did Topanga ever stray on Corey? Why did they break up right
No.
before Hollywood?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing.
And I
Did
we
took
watch
an
watched
they
this
break
episode
series.
up?
too.
Did they break
You-
up a lot?
No, they were because she moves away to Pittsburgh,
But she
but here's the crazy thing about Topanga in the series. They make her like the more horned up one because Corey's like, I'll wait. And Topanga's always like, I don't want to be alone with you because I don't know what I'm going to do. And it's like, holy hell. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
you'd think, they kind of like flipped it where you think would be the guys pressuring. But they made Topanga the one who was all worried. She wasn't pressuring Corey, but she was all worried she was going to jump into something.
ravage him.
Yeah. I was like, geez.
Yeah.
And she's like a senior in high school. I'm like, my Lord.
She broke up with Corey because they went to like a ski lodge for the weekend and he hurt his ankle. So he was stuck inside all day and he ended up talking to Linda Cardellini, who worked at the lodge. And they ended up talking all night. And then she told Corey how much she liked him and she kissed him. And he told Topanga about it. And then she wrote him Linda Cardellini wrote him some letter about how much she liked him. Topanga found it. And then she got all worried that Corey needed to see what else was out there. And then when he did that and he tested it and went on a date with Linda Cardellini, she was mad that he felt like he even had to do that.
Yeah.
Because she was always so sure of her feelings for him.
Where's Clint at this time? Is he in SHIELD training or like where's Clint Barton? Probably before, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Boy Meets World is canon in the MCU.
Of course.
As it should be. As it should be.
All
I don't think it
her
is.
writing team's full of 4-year-olds because they never.
Wait, what is the name of that episode? I need to.
You have to
I need
watch
take
it. Brianne.
note.
It's called
I need to
Eric
take note.
Hollywood. Eric Hollywood. I think it's
Eric
season
Hollywood.
5.
Okay.
Answer
I'm
this,
gonna look that
Kevin.
up.
Season 5 is pretty great, actually. I was kind of watching all the episodes. There's one with
Yeah.
Candace Cameron where she's a witch and she starts dating Jack and she tries to put a spell on everybody. Yeah, it's a good one.
I want to start a Boy Meets World podcast now.
You should do it.
I'm going to
I mean,
recap the
we're
whole
all-
series.
What would you call it?
You have time now.
Kid gets acquainted with the universe. Isn't that what the fake
Yeah.
show was called?
I should do that. I
You
should call it
should.
that. Yeah.
Frank meets boy. You're-
That does not sound right.
Yeah.
That does not sound right.
I don't care. I don't care. That's the title. I don't care.
Frank meets boy. Okay.
That's the title
Are you
now.
gonna do it? Is it like Gilmore Guys, where you go through each episode
I
with
think
someone
I'm-
that's like never really seen it before?
I might. I'm going to have to explore it.
you should go through each minute. Do a
Okay.
minute by minute podcast.
Whoa, that would take forever.
they
that
invited
would
me
take
on the Newsies
forever.
minute for minute podcast, and I could not believe the work they put into it. They literally dissect a minute, and they emailed me.
Yes.
I'm only in it. I'm literally in it for less than 1 minute, so I got to be a guest for their 1 minute, which is not a minute episode. It's them talking about it, but leading up, I just listened to a couple just to see what it is, and they dissect every word. You should do that, Frank. Boy meets
Boy Meets
I
Minute.
don't know about that. I mean, I have some time on my hands. I don't have that much time, but yeah, I'll consider it. Maybe 2 minutes. I'll do 2 minutes.
Garth,
original.
do not
Maybe
Google
2 minutes.
Frank meets boy.
That's yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Don't hit the image one either. So don't. Yeah.
Boy Meets My Boot. I like that one.
Yeah, that's Kaiser. Don't you gotta go to bed? Come on.
Kaiser is like the old Muppets and the Wolf Staff, and he's
Or
Statler.
Statler.
Statler, yeah, he's just standing over there. And just,
That's good.
But
was pretty good.
Kevin,
That was
answer
pretty
me this: if Boy Meets World is in the MCU, where was Mr. Feeney during the Portal scene?
Have you seen, by
Feeney
the
had
way,
come out with some kind of space gun. I would
people have
have
done fan edits, and they should do a sitcom version. But they have done fan edits where you can just type in like Portals every villain, and it will just CGI in like the Suicide Squad coming out and stuff. They should do one with sitcom actors, and you with the music. It is so funny, and the music still gets you emotionally, where you're just like, "Oh my god, this makes no sense at all." They have Ghost Rider coming through the portal, but like the music swells and you love it. You'd have Feeney come out. You'd have Mr. Belding.
all the,
Mr.
all the
Belding would be
teachers.
great.
While we're on the topic of Feeney, I will plug Brad Gilmore's Brad Gilmore's podcast. He interviews William Daniels on his podcast. So
Is he the
Brad
voice
Gilmore's
of Kit in Knight Rider?
He is.
Yeah.
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 I don't.
We
see
gotta
any
do
of
our
this has to do with Back to the Future.
Feeney yell. Everyone needs to do their Feeney.
That's good, right? That's good.
Yeah,
good.
Amazing.
Okay.
In this delay, it's a weird thing.
That's weird. Yeah. That's 29. Okay. All right.
Frank
That's it. I'm
Boy.
done. I'm done.
The name of this podcast, the title is Frank Meets Boy.
That's great. All right. I'll do it. I don't care.
All right.
I'll definitely attract a certain kind of crowd. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
Well, you know.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna start a minute-by-minute podcast of Jurassic Park 3.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say the Mets, like just their lifetime season.
I will defend that movie. One of my favorite scenes in that whole saga. The whole saga is when he's like, "Don't anybody move," and you just have everyone behind them, and they look, and then they just boom. Like, oh, come on! Like, that's really funny to me.
That is a good scene. I like that.
All right,
It's a great
ladies and
You know what the
gentlemen.
original ending of that movie was going to be? When remember they get surrounded by the raptors,
Yeah.
and then the team, because remember they're on Isla Sorna, so
Yes.
they're on the Lost World island, not Nublar. They were going to get attacked again by the big, I forget it now what the name is, the big one,
Spinosaurus.
the Spinosaurus. That was going to come out, but remember in the Lost World there was two T-Rexes. It was a husband and wife. You know,
No, they got married.
They were
Ceremony
happily
was
married.
beautiful.
and so
Can you imagine a wedding ring on one of the
Isn't the one that gets killed by the Spinosaurus supposed to be the baby T-Rex from the Lost World?
I don't know if that or if
Oh,
that's
really?
the one that gets
I
killed
think so.
is like the wife, right? Let's say it's the wife. Remember, there's two.
no.
So everybody was like, "Well, where's the other one?" So originally the ending was they would get saved. The T-Rex, they give the eggs, and then they take off. And then the Spinosaurus comes out. They run out to the beach, and all the helicopters are there to save them. And then the Spinosaurus comes out of the foliage and about to attack them. And then the other T-Rex starts attacking them, and then they both disappear into the foliage as they get on the helicopters and take off. And that would have been rad.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, we kind of got it in Jurassic World to some degree.
Yeah, he got a little bit. Yeah.
But dude,
But yeah,
I've never
like
heard.
that, and then you would figure it out. It's like, oh, that's the mate. That's the.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I never heard that thing that T-Rex that dies was the baby T-Rex that had the broken leg and lost.
Oh,
World.
I didn't think about that. That would be
I
sad.
feel like that is the T-Rex.
That is. Did you say what I think you said?
What?
That's the Theorex? Is that what you just said?
The what?
That is the Theorex?
No.
Are you just trying to combine words?
Yeah, I thought that's what he did. Okay, maybe it's your
Don't
internet.
Make fun of the way I talk.
I'm not. I'm questioning it.
Just because I'm from Connecticut and I have a thick accent.
Mm.
So thick. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a lisp. That's a lisp.
I have to go put my kids to bed.
Their
which
homework?
means I need to end this stream because
It's
most
homework.
likely.
Watch
They are
a
not
minute-by-minute
asleep right
podcast
now.
of Jurassic Park 3. Oh, come on.
So we got that from Brandon.
Shit.
We got Frank Meets Boy. So I'm
Oh,
looking
God.
forward. I'm looking forward to all of these
Frank
new
Meets
shows.
Boy.
I'm very excited about them. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Someone do a top of that.
So did you guys want to say like where people can find you and stuff, or are we just like, hey, bye?
Nah, I don't care. I don't need any.
Yeah. You can find me to my new podcast, Frank Meets Boy. It's going to be 69-minute episodes.
Whoa!
And,
hey,
wow,
yeah.
hey.
So every it's going to be once a month. Once a month. Yeah.
Let me know what you think of Eric Hollywood, Brianne, because it's good.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Maybe tonight. Who knows? All right. Well, I guess I will say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for joining us. And unlike Mean Girls, you can sit with us. See you next time.
Good
maybe.
stuff there.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.